Tina Arena, it's lovely to be sitting down with you.
Yeah, it's nice to be sitting down with you too.
Now, this is a big role. She's a formidable character. You know, you screw up, don't cry for me, Argentina. Everybody in the theatre knows, so no pressure.
No, you'll never work again.
What have you done to prepare?
It is a challenging role, and it's challenging because she's challenging as a human being. She was challenging. She was curious, she was feisty, she was invested. She just was. She embodied Argentina. She had something to say, and she didn't. She didn't sit there and just talk. She actioned things. And of course, being a woman, people are always displaced, and I don't think it's changed today.
Do you ever look at Evita's life, Eva's life, and, I don't know, are angry for what was said about her, that she was a prostitute? And looking back, maybe her greatest sin was ambition.
I think her greatest sin was ambition, because we don't talk about how many men use their bodies and to get what they want, not necessarily to get places. We never focus on that, but I just focus on women because everybody assumed that she slept her way to the top. I'm not particularly, I don't really care what she did. She did it, and voila, she put the country on the map globally. She did the things that she did. She was a woman. She guided Peron. When Peron was somebody that was trepidatious about things, I think he was fearful of a lot of things. So she really was the driving force behind him.
Ambition can still be a dirty word in Australia to say about a woman,
Yeah.
She's ambitious, yeah?
Yeah.
So don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah, not at all.
You're ambitious.
I find that hugely complimentary if somebody says you're ambitious, because I think it's great.
But it seems like you had that at 8.
I did have that at 8, and then when I got to 18 and 20, I was like, you can't do that. I would love $1 for the amount of times where people said to me, oh, you'll never get there. You'll never do that. I was like, pardon?
But where did that come from, Tina?
I'm the daughter of immigrants who came to Australia with nothing but a dream to be able to just live a normal life and to be able to provide for their family. I am a worker. I've always been a worker, but you cannot have a career that's lasted 42 years without having a sense of work ethic. You can't. I grew up in the 1970s on television. I went to school. I had no nannies. I went to school during the day. 3:30 we were picked up. We were driven to rehearsals. We rehearsed 6 days. We worked 6 days a week as a child, which is something that would never be allowed today.
School holidays?
School holidays, I toured. So I've worked all my life.
See, you have a 12-year-old boy now.
Yeah.
And I imagine you're raising him quite differently. What do you think when you look back and think, wow, what an amazing life?
Well, an amazing life. It's also a life that I really try and explain to Gabriel what I went through, because it's really difficult for his generation to understand exactly how invested you were. Because they sit there and they've got lots of activities today and the kids are all really busy, which is great and not, because I found that there's no family time together, and then whatever little time that they have, they're on a computer frying their brains.
And you think actually being on the road and going in that car at 3:30 to a rehearsal is a better life?
Is a much better life than the life that these children are exposed to today. The kids just go, oh, instant, I want that immediately. They don't ask how they got there, what happened in order to get there, the work that was involved, the planning that was involved. They don't have that. They just see the final product.
There's a famous story where you met Harvey Weinstein. Did you know who you were meeting? Did you understand what he was when you met him?
Yeah, I knew that there was something totally imbalanced about him. He smelt of it.
How do you mean?
Oh, I'm pretty primal with my instincts. I know when somebody's genuine and I know when somebody's not.
And did you sniff him as a threat?
Vulnerability plays such a huge role in artistry.
Right.
It is one of it's the largest part of DNA that inhabits who you are and what you do. It's vulnerability. Unfortunately, our industry is full of a lot of predators that prey on that, and that's the tragic reality of the arts, is those predators that play on that vulnerability and abuse it.
Did you experience that as a young person?
Of course I experienced that. Of course I did.
Can you tell me what happened?
Why? There were lots of inappropriate moments. There was nothing ever sexual with me, thank God. I think I was incredibly fortunate. There's just a lot of inappropriateness all over the place. Frankly, it's really boring. You just look now and you just go, sorry, have you forgotten what your job is? It's an enormous lack of grace.
Last night, a Queensland senator stood up in the federal parliament and he gave a maiden speech. And it was a kind of yearning for white Australia. He said we should ban Muslim migration to Australia. He said, he used Hitler's phrase, the final solution, to say the final solution was to allow Australians to vote on which migrants should come to Australia.
That kind of a message is hugely insulting on a number of different levels. It's hugely embarrassing. It's hugely discriminatory, and it is just not 2018. It's just, I can't believe that people say those kinds of things. I can't believe it. That's all.
There's a kind of nostalgia, some would say a toxic nostalgia, to those sorts of comments. So what I would like you to do is take me to your nostalgia for the multicultural suburban Melbourne that you grew up in. What's your nostalgia, Tina Arena?
My nostalgia was the wonderful 1970s, living in Moonee Ponds. There were Australians, English, Maltese, Croatian, Slavic, Greek, us Italians, German, other Croatians. I can't tell you how happy that court was growing up. It was the most beautiful time that I can remember, and it's a time that no longer exists. And I don't like hearing people talk about Muslims or Asians. What I want to hear us talking about is we are all here. That is how our country will move forwards. This country will only be a happy country if we learn to really respect one another and to understand each other philosophically, not just economically.
I love your passion, and I think after that speech, you are just going to kill it as Eva Peron. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
You're very welcome. Thank you.